Who's that?
Is it too?
Who is my wife?
Okay, here's contact information for Kay Jones.
No, there's a new podcast. There's two actually. It's Tilly Trotter. Tilly Trotter Knits.
Give me a moment. Okay, I found this on the web for Who is Tilly Trout. Okay, I found this on the web for Who is My Mummy.
Did you see Knitting Done this week?
No, not yet.
With Denise Schumacher.
Denise is coming over to England in July. So guess what that means? Us and Denise. Connection. So
Well,
maybe they don't get Heinz beans, I don't know.
I shall cut it in. Do you get Heinz beans? And how do you like to take them? Oh no, it's not right. Makeup. Welcome to Bakery Bears Podcast, episode, what is it, Kay?
21.
And we're here at Walltown Crags.
Hello.
Hi everyone. We made it. It's Walltown Crags. Now, the wall was here, but it's been blasted away. It was blasted away in the Industrial Revolution. And the reason why they blasted it away was they were after what you can see up there. They call this, I think it's quartz dolomite, and what they do is they blast it away and then they chip it down and they put it into road chippings and they make slabs out of it and all sorts. And initially, what you see there ran all the way across here, and if you just pan around there, it ran all the way down to there. And the wall sat on top of that, but then they came along, they blasted it away, they blasted the wall away too. So this is where we start our journey, the end of our journey, on our way up to the top of there, because on top of there is Hadrian's Wall, and that's where we're going. So the wall used to run right the way across this gap. This gap was blasted out by the mine that was formed here in 1876. And how did they blast it out? Basically, the miners would come up here, they would drill down into the crag, they would put in explosives. The explosives would blast out a section of the wall and all that lay beneath, which is what they were after. And one blast would last them 6 months. They would have to then work the stone, they would break it down and they would use it for hardening road surfaces in the Industrial Revolution and making paving slabs. So in 1876, this quarry was formed to get at that rock that I showed you a minute ago. And what happened was in 1976, they finished using the quarry and they gave it to Northumberland County Council. Now Northumberland County Council needed to fill this in. This was a 30-metre deep hole. The only way they could fill it in was by using clay, and clay from a bypass that's being built a little way away from here. So they dumped the clay in here, but of course in clay soil nothing will grow. So what they did was they planted clover and trefoil and all sorts of things which take their nutrients from the air. And this now, it's a lovely place. It's a wildlife reserve because you get all sorts of really interesting birds and all sorts. And yeah, this is on our route up to Hadrian's Wall. So let's cast our minds back pre-industrial times to the Roman times, and you can see just by looking behind me there the reason why the Romans chose this spot for the wall. Absolutely outstanding. It's the perfect point to mark the barrier between civilization, which is that way with heated floors and servants and lovely houses, and barbarianism, which is this way, or supposed barbarianism, which is this way. So this is where they chose to draw their line. Some people think as well that Julius Caesar conquered Britain. He didn't. He landed here in 55 BC, landed down at Dover, but unfortunately couldn't get the majority of his troops actually landed. So he managed to get to shore, and he battled a few Britons and ran into a bit of trouble and had to get away. He did come back again and he got further in, but unfortunately still didn't manage it. It was Claudius in 43 AD who arrived and conquered Britannia, but it wasn't until really into the 70s and the 80s when they got up here to Hadrian's Wall, and it was Agricola, who we met in episode 19, who was leading the charge and actually conquered, or tried to conquer, a good proportion of Scotland. Let's get further up the wall though and have a look.
It's just ridiculous to think that they built it on such a slope.
Yeah, I know.
They were absolutely off their trolleys, weren't they?
They were geniuses.
Look at that view.
Here we are, Bryony, we made it. We started our journey back in episode 19 and finally we are sat on the wall. This is the first bit of wall at Walltown Crags. Who do you think built this wall, Bryony? And what was the name of the man who built it? What's this wall called?
Hadrian's Wall.
It was Emperor Hadrian. Emperor Hadrian, he came to power in 117 AD, and he decided that the time had ended for conquering. He wanted to create limits to the empire to stop people migrating in, and also to stop invading armies coming from the other side. So he built not just the wall here between Scotland and England, Caledonia and Britannia, but he also built walls in Germany and also in the Middle East as well. So here is Hadrian's Wall. We finally made it, and we'll find out more about the wall, who lived here and who built it later on in the show.
Oh, it's back to us. All's right with the world. Favourite places to knit has returned.
Yay!
Oh, the funny thing is, right at this moment, what you've just seen hasn't been filmed.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So I really hope it's good. And I suppose that also makes it a good time to apologise for the fact that this podcast has come out about 24 hours later than it normally would. That's because, very short story, we looked at the weather, thought it would be a bad idea going when we would normally have gone to film. I got a bit down. Kay came up with a great plan, the plan being that we would do what we're doing to make that happen.
I just said to Dan, we're all grown up, we're 21.
We get the key to the door now.
Yeah.
There should be a little party.
Should, yeah.
A 21-year-old party.
21st party.
Absolutely. It pales into insignificance, though, when you look at Denise Schumacher's. How many episodes?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What number
154, I think.
Oh, is that what she's on?
Yeah,
well, she's
yeah.
been going 3 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
It is.
Yeah. And to anyone who's stuck with her through the dark times.
And can I just say, Denise, let me just tell you something, right? I've not had a Kit Kat for many years, and then Bryony this week brought home a Kit Kat from school. One of the children at school, it was their birthday, and they always bring in like little treats, and she brought a Kit Kat home. So I was like, oh, really excited, we can have a Kit Kat. It tasted nothing like I remember Kit Kats tasting. Like the chocolate doesn't taste the same.
You see, I think though our tastes will have changed a little bit because we do go for
you're probably right,
high content.
You're probably right, but it still did not taste like the chocolate on a Kit Kat that I remember. But it is many years since I've had a Kit Kat. So.
It's guaranteed though it will have changed. They will have lowered the cocoa content
or replaced some of the sugars with something else, or I don't know, but.
It's not good. I was jealous actually of Denise's bunny ear.
Oh yeah, bunny
Kit
ear
Kats.
Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
That's
get those.
really good. No.
Nope.
I'm looking forward to the next episode already, actually, because that's going to be an Easter special.
Oh yeah.
Kay's going to dress up in a bunny outfit.
The world is not ready for that. I just wanted to start off by just saying thank you to everybody. After the last podcast, the response that I had was just unbelievable, wasn't it? The number of messages that I got of support, and also of sharing experiences of anxiety and similar kinds of things, and it was just overwhelming in a good way. It was really helpful to me. And I think I've responded to everybody. If I've missed somebody, then I apologise, but I think I've responded to everybody. So I just wanted to say thank you. It was so kind of everybody to take the time to do that. And I really appreciate it. And I'm feeling much better. This week, I think, has been the first week since probably the beginning of February, which I think is when I started to kind of spiral downwards. Me and Dan have chatted about it recently, and I think...
We've tracked it.
I think I know what triggered, me going from managing okay to just going downhill. And once I realised what it was, I think I kind of started to pick myself back up again. I am much better. So thank you, everybody, for all the messages. I really, really appreciated it.
Sadly, though, it's me now that's been on a downer, because on the Friday that the last episode came out, on the Sunday I was playing hopscotch with Bryony. And my 2.5-year-old iPhone 5 flew out of my pocket and disintegrated on impact with an extremely large stone paving slab. But then Kay very amazingly and wonderfully bought me an iPhone 6. And quick review, it's great. It's great. The camera's amazing. The video camera on my other phone had stopped working a while ago, but the quality of the pictures, you can just see a massive improvement. I really like everything about it. There's only one thing I don't like about it, and that is I have big hands. Yeah, this is the iPhone 6. It's the standard iPhone 6. This is the one that they claim you can use with one hand. Okay, let's talk about Instagram for a moment. And on Instagram, you have to reach up there quite a lot, and that physically is just impossible for me to get up to where it is on the screen. So you need two hands to operate it. And I find that slightly frustrating. And you just wonder, I do think it's silly that Apple have followed the lead of other manufacturers.
And gone bigger.
Yeah. It's that looks more like a HTC Desire.
That's my 5S, is it?
So look at the difference.
It's a big difference.
Size.
And yours is thinner than mine,
yeah. But So this is the iPhone 6. This is not the iPhone 6 Plus. Don't get me wrong, it's a great phone. Technically, it's a great phone. But I do think, personally, that they should have kept the size the same as the old one. So this is the zenith of our Roman journey.
It is.
It's been...
It's been really enjoyable.
I feel all down now. I don't really. It's been super enjoyable. Super enjoyable. And do you know what? I don't need to feel down, because we know in the summer we're revisiting the Roman journey.
Yeah, because we've never taken anybody there to Housesteads, have we?
We've deliberately not gone to some of the best sites. So we've started our journey really close by at Piercebridge. We've then travelled a little bit further up Deer Street, and we've gone to Chester's. And then we've gone even further up Deer Street. We're going to get to Hadrian's Wall in part 2, so later on in the show. And then when we come back in the summer, we're going to visit some of the really big, exciting forts. So Housesteads.
Gosh, I wonder.
Vindolanda.
I wonder if you're allowed, because the house we've got is right in the fort, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if you can just go out really early and wander around the fort.
Probably. And how appropriate that I be sat here in my Messalina cowl. Oh, what did it grow?
It's not a cowl.
What?
People think I've designed a cowl now.
What? Do you know what that is? That's because I never anticipated that I would ever wear a shawl.
A shawl, yeah, that's true. Actually.
I'll be wearing tights next. Should we find out?
Find out what?
Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Oh, it's a nice little
We changed
touch
it.
of the leg.
We changed it. We said for the foreseeable future there'd be no more of this.
Oh, stop it.
I just
Look
had
how
to
curly
remind
I
you.
am today.
She's very curly.
It's gone like madly curly, my hair. What's on my needles? Well, I had a huge organise yesterday. And
I wondered what you were going to say. Go on.
Sorry, it makes me laugh sometimes. Not a lot. The first thing on my needles is something...
Gosh, that looks so cool. That's like the coolest
It's
thing
very
I've ever
cool.
worn.
Josh wants to knit one.
Does he?
Sword of a knitter.
That's Brian is so funny whenever
Yeah,
she
she always
says
says
your name,
it.
Josh. She certainly sounds like a Londoner.
Yeah, she does. Sword of a knitter.
Sort of knitter.
Yeah, Josh
It's
wants
the coolest.
to knit one.
I totally love this.
But you see, I think it's because of the yarn as well. It's just done in Cascade 220, which I think is like a manly sort of...
And the colour.
And something I thought the other day, actually, how nice it'd be in a tweedy yarn.
Yeah.
That'd be really nice.
What I love about this is it is not itchy, not even in the slightest.
It's not, no. I mean, I don't think Cascade 220 is itchy. I do like non-superwash yarns. We were having this discussion the other day, the difference between superwash and non-superwash. And, you know, the main difference I notice is when you block non-superwash, it kind of bounces back, doesn't it, to what it was originally. It's not got that stretch. You wash superwash sometimes and it goes, you know, it goes really massive.
I came in the other day.
It's got more structure, which
Yeah.
I think is good for a bloke, yeah.
I came in the other day and I'd had this on, I'd been outside, I took my jacket off. It never even dawned on me that it was even on. And I went and sat down behind my desk, started working, and I think I must have been there a good hour. And it was just so comfortable and so lovely and warm. It's just the best. Go on, you had a big organise.
I did have a big organise, and my Ravelry project page has not been up to date for many weeks, if not months.
Well.
So it's now totally up to date. Everything is on there that is current. And the first thing that's on my needles is it's something new, but if you remember from last time, I've got this yarn, which was the Juliana's Fibre Lucky Star sock yarn, and I was knitting.
You want to?
I know, I do want to. And I was knitting socks with it, the toe-up socks, if you remember the pattern that Sarah Stevens gifted to me.
And me.
It was only when Dan said, oh, that's really pretty yarn and everything that you said, I thought, do you know what, maybe it is too pretty to hide in shoes. So now I know I can do the toe-up cast on, I'm going to do those in a different yarn, and I ripped it out with this yarn, and I've started a sockhead hat. You know, I've never knit a sockhead hat, and I must be the last knitter in the universe, apart from Dan, that hasn't knit a sockhead hat. So I started a sockhead hat, and look how pretty it is. Ooh, looky look. You can't really see the sparkle. Oh, you can a little bit, you can see the sparkle. So I'm just on the ribbing. That's the other side. It's not pooling at all. It just looks it just looks like clouds, doesn't it, with rainbows just peeking through.
It's not pooling.
No.
Cara Thompson should stay away from this yarn then.
I know, Cara loves pooling.
She likes a nice pool.
She does. I mean, I don't know what will happen when I change to the stocking stitch, because it changes, doesn't it? Just because of you know, your tension and everything is different in stocking stitch to ribbing. But I mean, I'm loving it, and I think it'll make a super fun hat. Lightweight, so lovely for the spring. And I mean, I might give it if Bryony will wear it. She's so funny with wool and stuff. I mean, there's not an itch in this, but she would find an itch in it. So I'm doing it on, oh, and here's the other thing. I'm doing it on 3mm, a short circular. And I started it on a pair of carbons that I bought months and months ago and never actually used them. So it was the first time that I'd used them. And when I opened them, I thought, gosh, those tips look really blunt, but I will go with it. and I had an awful time. I did cast it on and I knit about 1/2 inch, and then I had to order another pair of needles. And I don't think, this is certainly not with every pair of carbons. I think it's a fault, and I do feel like writing to Knit Pro, because this is the second pair I've had where the tips have been virtually flat. I'm going to hold them up and see if you can see. Can you see how flat those tips are? Right?
Perhaps it's for a reason.
It's not for a reason.
That's not for a reason.
No, it's a fault. If you compare them, these ones are Knit Pro Nova, so it's the same company that do both, right? And these ones are fabulous. These are Knit Pro Nova. Look at the difference. Can you see the difference?
If that's not for a reason, then that's a disgrace.
These ones are beautiful and pointy. These ones, the tips are flat. And I bought a set of interchangeable carbons a while back.
You saying not every pair comes like that then?
No, because I'm using some on a different project.
And they're pointy.
It's not those. I'll find them, because, you know, I do think it's kind of important, you know, consistency. Right, here we go. These ones, so that's a 3mm on the sock circular. These ones are 3.25mm. Right, same pair of needles, and look at the points.
That's massively different.
It's hugely different. There's the dodgy one, the flat ones, and look at those, the difference. Can you see the difference?
Yeah, makes me think of a poem.
So I kind of do feel like emailing them.
Yeah.
And seeing what they say about it.
I wonder if anyone else has had similar experience.
I wonder if anyone else has had, because generally I love carbons, you know, I've spoken about carbons and love them.
I don't like them, do I?
You don't particularly like them, but you can, knitting with those, I was like pulling my hair out. So.
Can I recite my poem?
What?
My poem.
Your poem?
Yeah. It's about pointy needles.
Oh gosh, go on.
Oh, pointy needles.
Oh no.
Oh, pointy. Anoint my knitting. Anointy.
Shush. So I'm now using 3mm Knit Pro Novas, and these are fabulous. They're slidey, the joins are lovely. It's heaven. So.
Well, the carbon's not slidey. Why didn't I like them?
No, they're quite grippy, aren't they? Because it's carbon.
So they were too grippy. That's why I didn't like them.
I think you said they were too grippy, even though
I love these.
You like wood, and they're Knit Pro as well. They're all Knit Pro, these. So it should be consistent, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Dan Jones?
Yeah.
What's on your needles?
You see, I'm all nice. Oh, dear. So I wanted, as you know, to do something with slightly more fun yarn. And do you know what? By knitting these on here, I'm actually enjoying the other knitting more.
Oh, right.
So by starting this project, I think what that tells you is...
You do have a preference of, you know, one project over another, don't you?
No, I don't mean to say I'm enjoying that more than I'm enjoying this.
Right.
What I mean is, by knitting this in this colourway, as you'll see in a second, it's making me enjoy the slightly more grey. I think contrast is a big thing. By doing the two things, it makes you totally get a kick out of those.
Look at that. It's coming. It is much brighter than that, actually, isn't it?
Wow.
Turn them around, because the other side's more blue.
Super close.
It's lovely. Lovely.
It's lovely.
It's lovely.
So, and this is totally... I'm so doing some handbrake socks.
Carry on.
The pattern... Do you not think the pattern would rock?
I don't know. I'd have to try it.
But in your opinion, do you think it would work or not?
It would, yes, I'm sure it would work.
So what is this sock pattern, Kay?
It is I get this right because I always get it wrong. It's the Incredibly Easy Socks by Tracy Darby. I got it right. I've knit about 6 pairs of them, so it's on my project page if you want to find the pattern. It's a free pattern. It's for DK weight socks. It's knit on 3.25 mils.
Yes, it is.
And what's the yarn, Dan?
This is the really colourful, lovely worsted weight.
No, it's not. Have you got the thing? Is it in your project bag?
Oh, this is like the Great Whole of Calcutta, this is.
Yeah, it doesn't clear out his project bag.
It's so I can remember all the great projects. Is it that?
It is that one.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow. Straight there, baby. Air Valley, DK, West Yorkshire Spinners.
Yeah.
Oh, made in West Yorkshire, made in Keighley.
I know, Keighley.
Now, is West Yorkshire Spinners available all over?
They've got an online shop.
Right.
I don't know if they ship worldwide. You'd have
Right.
to check. I got that from their shop online.
It's
very
great
quick,
yarn, but
very quick service.
I'd so love to take people to Keighley.
Keighley, gosh, yeah. And
I went there once. It was shut.
that's the colourway number, but I think it's just called. I think it's called Rainbow. Even though there's no purple. I really wish there was some purple in there. You've got red, orange, yellow,
It's
green.
called Rainbow.
Yeah. So you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue.
So, great socks. Enjoy knitting them. Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
I need to stop knitting. I wasn't prepared. Oh no. Right.
I don't know. I'm loving this t-shirt today, actually.
All right, you carry on talking about your love of that t-shirt.
I'm going to. This is, it's Chunk. We got it from TK Maxx, but I think...
Did we?
We did.
I don't remember getting that from TK Maxx.
Yeah, we found it in TK Maxx. It's the one and only time we found anything really great in TK Maxx.
No, they do have other stuff.
I think Chunk is a good designer label.
All right.
But I think it might be American. I'm not sure. It certainly looked like it was in the tags and stuff. But I think it was a stocking filler for me.
All right.
Yes.
I get you.
So what's on your needles?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct, because I have another one to knit.
That's an FO.
No, it's not.
That's off your needles. Matt, is that an FO?
Ta-da. So I've finished one humongous sock for Dan. It's just 72 stitch.
Just.
Standard heel flap gusset. Just, you know, your standard sock really. And I knit to, I mean, look at it, look. Oh, gosh, it's so massive. I knit to about 10.5 inches, I think, before the toe. Dan's foot is 12.5 inches long.
No wonder I've got a complex.
Goodness me. So I've finished one.
Just put that bit up to my forearm.
Oh yeah, it should be as long as that, shouldn't it?
Could anyone tell me?
Well, it is.
Could anyone tell me why that is? Or
Yeah.
it certainly always seems to be the case.
Yeah, well that's true.
Medical people.
Your foot is as long as that, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
It must just be, it's relative to the rest.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's like, that to me is like there is a grand design.
So if you wanted to knit a pair of socks for someone but didn't want to measure their foot, you could just get a tape measure.
Can I just measure your
No,
arm?
just measure your arm. Don't know if that's any less weird.
I'm going to knit you some leg warmers for your arms.
Yeah. So I finished one sock and it's the Regia. And somebody told me that, I mean, they do have colourway names, it's just not on the ball band. And I do know the colourway name now. So it's 03312, and I believe it's Autumn Harvest, which does tie in completely with that colour, doesn't it? With all the oranges and browns and reds and stuff. So I've finished one and I've cast on the other. I've literally just done 2 rows, but it is cast on. Dan Jones,
Yes.
what's on your needle?
Do something.
Do something.
So this is what I'm really enjoying again. And I've got to say, I'm enjoying purling so much. I accidentally purled a row the night before last.
Yeah, and guess what? I was totally asleep on the sofa.
So I woke her up.
I was completely asleep,
Oi,
right?
woman.
And you just went, Kay!
I didn't
Kay!
do
I
that.
went, like this.
No, she was like dozing.
I've purled a row! I'm like, what? I was asleep. So I'm there like, totally asleep, ticking back this row for him.
I'm really enjoying this now again. I was a bit frustrated before. I think as well, it's felt like more progress has been made in the last 2 weeks. Probably 2 weeks. And perhaps this is a testament to the joys of polygamous knitting. Did I say the
monogamous?
right thing? Monogamous
What,
knitting.
do you mean just one thing?
No.
Oh, polygamous then.
Ah, yes. And I shall explain in a short way. By knitting on a different project, you come back to this with renewed vigour, don't you?
You do, yeah.
If you're knitting on one project. So I think we can put this argument to bed.
Yeah.
All those people that say you should just knit on one thing and you'll finish more things, I disagree. Moderation, not too many projects, the right number of projects on the go, and that way then you're excited to get to whatever you're...
I agree, yeah, but I do think if you knit, you do get through things quicker, but I'm not so sure that you would enjoy it as much, like you say.
I think I've made more progress on this though since I started knitting on those.
I think you have, yeah.
Because I find myself knitting on the other project and thinking, I need to do a bit on this as well. So normally in a night I would do, I'd knit on one thing, but the last 2-3 nights I've knit on two things. So yeah, it's coming on nicely, and it just makes me happy.
What's the yarn, Dan?
The yarn is it's worsted weight.
No, it's not. You think everything's worsted weight?
Worsted weight, sorry. Tune into Knitting Den, episode 121, My Legacy.
Oh, we love that episode so much.
I think, right, out of all the programmes I watch on television, and I'm talking about terrestrial programmes as well, if I wanted to put something on that would guarantee to make me happy, it would be that. It is.
Oh, it's just brilliant, Denise. It's just brilliant. You started off the episode so happy, you're like, oh, I'm outside. It's so exciting. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I just don't think this is working, is it? Because everything was going wrong. The dog next door was barking. Your dog was like eating grass, and you had to take it in, and then it was just, But
do you know what? That is actually what makes it great.
Oh, it was fabulous.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Preferably in the snow.
Oh, stop it. You didn't say what the yarn was.
I have no idea what the yarn is. I have utterly no idea what
it's
the yarn is.
It's the Uncommon Thread BFL DK in the colourway Plata.
What's the difference between DK and worsted?
Worsted is thicker.
Right.
It's heavier. We actually worsted is not a British weight. It's an American thing, worsted weight, and it is more coming over here now. But generally, we have lace weight, 4-ply, which is kind of sock weight, I guess. DK. We don't really have sport weight. You can get sport weight that's like a baby yarn. Some of the baby yarns would be classed as a sport weight. DK, Aran, and then chunky. So we don't really have sport weight. We don't really have worsted weight, but you can get them now, obviously, because they come over from America. So don't. Oh, okay.
Okay, James, what's on your needles?
I have another FO.
What?
According to you.
Well, the wrong section.
Well, it's not an FO.
I know what I could do.
I did say according to you.
So this is a sock for me.
Well, I hope it's not me.
Where's
it's enormous.
Where's the other sock for me? I'm going to start wearing these right now.
No, you're not. I have this thing that, you're not allowed to put the socks on until they're both finished. I'm really funny about it.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
Right, hang on. Let me put that one back in there. So I finished another sock for Dan. This is the Aran weight socks that I'm doing for him.
Did the dyer know when they dyed that up that that's how it was going to come out?
Yes.
How do they know?
I don't know. They're
You're
very
so clever,
aren't they? And it actually looks, I think because it's Aran weight, it looks shorter than the other one, and it's not. I measured them against each other, and they are the same length. But I think when it's a thicker yarn, they just look shorter, don't they? But it's not. So I finished one sock, and I'm really it's a bit of a slog, these ones. And it's probably my own fault because I'm knitting them to a really tight gauge. I'm using 3.25mm with an Aran weight. So you can imagine that is a tight gauge. But I wanted them to be sturdy, because they're thicker socks. And it's just kind of rough on my hands. But I've managed to finish one and I've cast on the other. And again, I've done 2 rows. But, I wanted to just get it cast on. This is the second ball. I weighed this one after I finished it and it was 67 grams. I had 30 something grams left, so I wouldn't have had enough in one ball to knit 2 pairs. So I'm going to have 2 35 grams left which I don't know what I'll do with that. Toys, I'd probably make a really cool toy actually. And this again is the Air Valley, but this is the Aran version. And I wrote down the colourway on the back. It's green polka, and that's the number. And if you're interested.
Go on in.
It's another pair of socks. So I've got 3 pairs of socks on the needles.
You are springing into socks this month.
I know, but only 1 pair is for that, for the knit along. These ones I cast on last October.
Crumbs.
I mean, that's just despicable, isn't it?
Walk steadily into socks.
I know, gosh.
Coast slowly into socks.
October. I couldn't believe it when I looked on my Ravelry page. But these ones are for me, can you believe it? If you'll remember these.
Good bedtime socks, those.
Yeah. It's the speckly Regia yarn, which I love. And I've done the heel flap. I did a Eye of Partridge down the light. That, look how lovely that looks.
What did I call it? Eye of Partridge?
I can't remember. You didn't call it that, did you?
Eye of Pigeon or something.
I don't know. So look at that heel flap. It's so pretty, I think. And it was the modified one that's in the Hermione's pattern from lovely Erica.
Who is a sock genius.
She is a sock genius. And Erica, I was
Can I just say hi to Nick?
Oh yeah, he was poorly a few weeks ago.
Oh no, I didn't know.
Yeah.
What was wrong with him?
He had a fever, sounded like a virus or some sort.
Nick, that's
yeah.
rubbish. Hope you're
all
okay.
better.
Have you made any good Star Wars Lego recently? I haven't, so please tell me. Send me a message.
So I was chatting with Erica and I said to her, I was just looking at your patterns this morning because I wanted a toe decrease for that Aran weight sock for Dan. It's 56 stitches and I've never done a 56 stitch sock before. And I couldn't find one that was 56 stitches, so I just thought, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But she told me what to do. So she's my sock knitting guru and it was perfect. It came out perfectly. So this is her Hermione's. This is like the Hermione's template that I use, but I just don't put in the pearl bumps for some of them. So you can see it's the modified one with the garter edge. And I love picking up from that garter edge. I think it comes out really neat. I'll show it you. Can you see? Look how neat that looks. There, where I've picked down. I really love that. So I thought, right, I'm going to pick these up and I'm going to get on with them because it's just ridiculous now. This is only the first one. And I'm using carbons and these points are okay. I'm going to have that bee in my bonnet, aren't I, now, forever and a day. So I'm on the foot of that one. And the yarn, again, is Regia. 4-ply colour. And, again, there is the colourway name for this, and I can't remember what it is. It's something like Lollipop. No, it's not Lollipop. I can't remember. That's the colourway name, number even, 05062 if you want to find some. And they do have it in different colours. I've got the pink version as well, but I've wound the other one into a cake. Look how, it's so pretty. Super, super lovely. So, yeah.
No. What's
right. This, I cast this on, I can't think how long ago, and I'd done 2 rows on it and then put it away. And I have spoken about it before, but this is going to be a cowl for Bryony. And it was going to be the To Infinity and Beyond by Hoki Locatelli, but I decided that the lace pattern was just too much for my brain at the minute. And I found another lace pattern that virtually matched. I just had to add 1 stitch to get the repeat number right, and it's just Herringbone Eyelets it's called, and I can't remember which book it's out of. It's one of the pattern books. It might have been the Up Down All Around one. So I dug it out yesterday and I thought, it'd be so nice to have this done for her for Easter, to put in her Easter basket, because it's just the right colour and she loves a silky cowl that she wears all the time that used to be mine. And I thought, I'm just going to try and get this done for her. So I did a repeat plus a little bit yesterday. This is the yarn. It's so pretty. Look at that. And that is a little bit more lilac than it's coming up. And my nails match. Look at that. Must have done that on purpose. This is the yarn. It's watercolours and lace, mulberry silk, 4-ply, pink wisteria. It's beautiful yarn. It's really beautiful. So this is I'll just try and find a way of showing you the pattern. It's just like little V's. There you go. Can you see I've done 1 and a bit pattern repeats? There you go. It's like little V shapes. So I think I'm going to do 6 repeats of the V's. It's just an 8-row repeat, and the second row is just plain knit. And can you see my stitch marker? It's just one of those little circular ones. It matches, and I just bought these recently. I'll show you in later on in the endy bits. And I'm doing this on 3mm needles. I think it's a 24 inch. I'm pretty sure it's 24 inch. And there's 261 stitches. The pattern called for 260, and I just increased that 1 stitch to make it right for the pattern repeat. So hopefully I'm going to have this done in the next week. If I can do a pattern repeat a day, then I will. So fingers crossed this will be done next time. For little Bryony.
Any more for any more?
I do have more.
Ooh.
So that's a very pretty project. It's in one of my bags that I made ages ago with some fabric that Sally sent me. Little ladybirds. So, and then we're on to the blankets.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
We had a lovely message from Bob Wilson 123.
Oh gosh.
Do you remember the bag?
Here it is. I've
Here
got
it
it
is.
because I've
Here
been
is the
carrying my
bag.
projects around in it that Sally made me.
And she said that she was watching the podcast. She was like, she'd found the podcast. She's like watching it, and then she got to the episode, and she said, "I'm sure that's a bag that I designed."
And it is.
She was like, "Oh, that's amazing."
Sally, the lady who designed this bag, sent us a message.
But that's so cool that she just found it. She didn't know it was there.
it's
That must be
very
so cool. I'd love for
yeah.
that to happen. That'd just be great, wouldn't it? You just think, "Oh, that makes me so happy," just because your work is finding its way out into the world and being enjoyed by so many people. And then it's so wonderful to think that Sally, all the way out there, far side of America,
In very hot California, as I understand at the minute, is having some strange heat wave over there. Oh.
crocheted that and sent it all the way here.
Yeah. So this is the mitered square one. I don't know where I was last time, but it's this big now. It's 20 squares across, but I am going to make it 25. I'm going to add 5 more squares over here. But I stopped at 20 because I wanted to start adding another 3rd row. I just thought, oh, just going to go back over there now and add some over there. Because you do that, don't you? So I know all this is new. I know all this 3rd row is new. And Dan was just saying, look how the lines all line up. That makes me so happy that those the diagonal lines all kind of line up with each other. And look, there's the Regia one from the socks that I'm just doing. What are you doing under there? Deary me. So I honestly,
Sorry,
I really won't remember all of these, where they all came from, because
You've covered it every episode, so
I have, yeah. I mean, there's a bit of everybody's that people have sent me, plus ones that that I've used, that I've bought. So everybody's sort of scraps that they've sent me are all getting amalgamated in. You might spot some of your scraps in there, but I just love it. It's just so nice to knit on. And I have been doing my ends, as these 2 bottom rows you can see. And what I'm doing, I mean, I don't know if you'll find this interesting or not, but when I need to weave in an end, for example, this green one here, I'm tying a knot, tying a knot in it to make sure it's secure, and then I'll weave it kind of up the bump and then back and then through like the green section, just to make sure it's absolutely secure. So that's how I've been weaving it in. And you can't see the ends, actually. I don't think you can see them, can you? You're all saying, look, there's one. So it's just, look, and I've gone from saying I'd never do one of these to look how far I am now. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And it's very addictive. Someone was saying recently, I was watching was it Zena? I think it might have been Zena. Yeah, I'm sure it was Zena saying, you think, oh, I'll just do one and then I'll work on something that I should be working on. And 2 hours later, you've done 3 squares and not knit on anything else. But, if you're enjoying it, I think you should just knit on whatever makes you happy, to be honest. And I'm using 2.5mm. You've done something wrong, have you?
yeah. Could you just?
What have you done?
Could you I've just purled and I shouldn't have.
Oh, again.
It's only one stitch.
So I'm using 2.5mm carbons again, DPN's nice and sharp.
Could you purl me back one stitch and then knit me back one stitch?
Just one stitch? You can't even tink back one stitch.
Well, you're so good at it.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, are you ready with your next one?
And then the last thing is my crochet blanket. And I wasn't going to show this, to be honest, because you're probably all sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know you are. But I did add another row. And it was 9. I added 9 squares. I'm just trying to find the edge that I added them to. So it's now 15 by 9 at the moment. So let me find the edge. Was it that one? Yes. It was this last edge here. Oh, I'm pointing. This last edge here. So all the way along that top edge. So I added 9 squares. It's not as many as I would have liked to have added, but you know, I'm not in a rush and I just want to do it, you know, when I feel like doing it. And again, this will be coming away with us because I do want to add some more while we're away. So now I've got it to 15 wide. So this is as wide, sorry darling, as it's going to be. Can you see? I mean, that's a good length, isn't it? So, and then there'll be a border around it, so it'll be another couple of, probably, you know, a good inch either side, if not more, of the border. So now I've got it 15 wide. I'm now going to start adding, you know, across the 15. So I want it to be 15 by 20, so I've got 11 more rows of 15 to go, which I think is 165, isn't it? And I've done 135, and that takes us to 300, which is right. So there it is. And it is, I do love it, and it's just, again, it's just lovely to work on. And what I like is, you know, you can crochet a little pile of squares, and that, you know, you can just do that in, like, I think it takes me kind of 10 minutes or so just to crochet one little square. So even if you've not got much time, you know, if you only literally get 10 or 15 minutes in an evening to do anything, you can crochet up a couple of squares and it's lovely, and then add them. So what I tend to do is I'll crochet up enough squares for a row, and then I'll lay out my blanket, and then I'll juggle them. You know, I'll get all the squares that I've done and I'll juggle them into the position that I want, and then I'll put them in a little pile in how I'm going to add them, and then I can just zip along the line and add them, and know that, you know, I'm not going to get 2 colours next to each other that are very similar. So yeah, there we go.
Any more for any more?
That is it.
Well,
that's a whole lot, isn't it?
yes, please. Who?
And I love to see it all folded up. Don't you love to see it folded up? I know that. Like, don't look at the ends.
Who are we finding out what's on their needles today?
I'll get out my book.
Little black book.
It's not. It's my little pretty
Yeah, I know.
journal.
Little pretty journal.
We won't talk about planners because
What?
I really want one. And Dan said they were silly. And guess what? Sally's getting me one for my birthday.
This is all cool. It's so great. I'm just looking forward. Mark a date in the diary, please. I think on this day in a year's time we should review and we should see what Kay's used in her planner.
I want stickers and pens and everything for
It'll
my
be
planner.
beautifully decorated.
It will.
It'll look wonderful. But what will you have used it for?
I will have used it for lots of things.
I said, what are you going to plan in it? She went, stuff.
I'm going to write things in it, and I'm going to
if you were
stuff for the podcast in it, and you know, little notes about patterns that I might suddenly have, or Don't believe me.
I believe your intentions are good.
Okay.
Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. What's the song?
I don't know. So what's on your needles this week?
Oh yeah.
Are you excited? I did my usual, going to the introduction thread, but I really did this time. Well, it's not this time actually. I just chose people where something jumped out at me. I could relate to it, or just something. So first person, what's on your needles this week is Hokey Knits.
Who?
Hokey Knits.
Whoa, that's cool.
And that's Jessica. Jessica is in Virginia. Now, there's 2 reasons I chose you, Jessica. First one is because, well, 3 reasons. The first one is because you're from Virginia.
It's where I
and it just makes me think of the Waltons.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama. It's John Denver, isn't it?
John Denver, yeah.
He's great.
But if anybody that's from Virginia, I instantly think of the Waltons, and you know how much I love the Waltons. So that was the first reason. You just got engaged. So I thought...
Who to?
To Danny.
Hold on.
What?
I'm already married.
Different Danny, I think. So those reasons all together, I was like, oh, Jessica, got to mention you. So
Hokey
Jessica...
Knits. That's such a great name. Why are you called Hokey Knits?
She said hokey is something to do with in college. She was called a hokey. I don't know exactly.
Please explain.
I don't understand.
Along with your what's on your needles.
I don't understand this, right? Do you know in American colleges they all go on about alma mater?
No, they have houses.
What's an alma mater? Is it?
They live in houses.
I don't understand. And what all this like alpha, beta, delta business.
That's the sorority.
I don't. And what is a sorority?
It's like a group.
What is that?
It's like you put in a house with a group of girls.
So like Harry Potter type thing.
Yeah, sort of.
I don't really. Anyway, we don't have any of that over here, do we?
You have plenty of things to post about then, because we need to know what's on your needles, how you got your name, and please explain to us all about.
And do you live near Walton's Mountain? I'm just interested, really.
I'm guessing Virginia's quite large.
I'm guessing it is.
Yeah.
But you could
so the chances are slim.
You might have been to the house.
Maybe.
It's my dream.
No. And that was the winner of the Bears in the Wild competition from last year?
No, that was Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, sorry.
Getting my 2 favourite things.
Have we ever had a bear? Has anyone ever taken a picture of a bear at Walton's Mountain?
Oh, gosh, no, they haven't. If there's anybody out there who's knit a bakery bear and you live near Walton's Mountain, I know it's not called Walton's Mountain. In fact, it was filmed on the back lot in California, wasn't it?
So does it even exist?
No, they're at the house. Doesn't it? Am I getting this totally wrong? I'm sure the house does... I'm sure that there is a house, isn't there? A Walton's Mountain house in Virginia? Oh, somebody tell me. That would be so cool if somebody could take a picture. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe this is going to dash all
Part of me is just...
I know, maybe it's going to dash all my Walton's dreams.
Right.
Somebody tell me.
What you have to do is create a Walton's Mountain. Find a mountain that looks like... They can't have filmed the whole thing on the back lot.
They can't have. Because they were out and about everywhere on a mountain. No, I'm sure. Somebody help me out on that one. So, Jessica, go and show us on the What's on Your Needles thread. What's on your needles?
And tell us all the other things too. Now, enough of this waffle. Everyone wants to... Waffles. I never got them.
I've not got waffles either. I'm not a waffle fan.
Is it the toppings?
Pancakes.
Is that what
pancakes.
Makes it?
You know, the thick American pancakes. I make those sometimes. Don't have for breakfast. They're lovely.
With bacon?
Golden syrup. No.
I like it with the
golden syrup. Oh,
and bacon?
Do you get golden syrup in America? Tate and Lyle's golden syrup. Everybody in the UK and maybe Europe as well.
Did they used to say Smile, it's Tate and Lyle?
Yeah, I think they did. I love golden syrup. Oh.
That's good advertising.
Pancakes with golden syrup and bananas for breakfast. Can you tell I've got my appetite back a bit? I've not really been eating at all, and I've been hungry this week, which has been a first. I want pancakes now.
I think it's time that I'm piling on the pressure considering this hasn't been filmed yet, but this segment, we've been working up towards this for the last 5 hours of podcast. This is Hadrian's Wall. Now just imagine the most stunning view, the edge of the empire. You just think the Roman Empire was crumbs. It was the majority of the globe. Hadrian came into power and it was time to consolidate that empire and to build barriers, the greatest of which was Hadrian's Wall. And check out this view.
believe it, finally.
Finally.
Crumbs. It's been quite the journey. But here we are, and I'm sure you're wondering who built the wall. The wall was built by 3 different legions, the 6th and the 20th Victorious and the 2nd Augustan. And the 2nd Augustan was actually led by Gnaeus Agricola. And do you remember we met him back in episode 19? Now Agricola was going to go on to great things, because not only did he lead one of the legions that came and built this wall, he was leading that legion 70 years before the wall was actually built. That legion went all the way over there into Scotland, and it built loads of forts and defeated loads of tribes, because the Romans were in Scotland for many years before they retracted to this line. And how amazing to think, Kay's just said as we walked up here, we are a long way away from anywhere, and look, here it is. How did they get the stones up here? How did they build it here? How is it so perfect? Now, all the way along the wall, there are mile castles and fortlets. So this is a mile, no, it's a fort, what am I saying? It's a turret, which they occur, there's 2 in between every mile castle. And basically this was exactly what it sounds like. Quite a tall little building where if there was trouble at either end of the fort, of the wall or anywhere along the wall, they would light a beacon at the top of the turret and they could pass messages up and down the wall really quick. Within a mile castle there was normally 12 soldiers, and then the fortlets, that's where they could all congregate, actually they became forts later on in the life of the wall, and that's housesteads that we're going to visit, and also further down there's Burdeswold,
Nice.
which actually, if you like Time Team, there's an episode on Burdeswold.
Is there?
Yeah, which I should stick in the I'll stick in the episode thread. So here we are finally at the wall.
There's a gap somewhere. The drain. I think it's a mating ritual, isn't it? Look, there they are. Look.
So what happened when the Romans left? The Romans left in about 410 AD, and the wall actually continued to be manned by the garrisons that were here. They were British by then. They were they saw themselves as British people, so they stayed here right the way into the mid to late 5th century. And it was only then, as their sons died out, that the wall became unmanned. Stone then got stolen for buildings all around. There's churches and abbeys and all sorts built very close by with stone from the wall. But then border reivers, round about the 1700s, border reivers were guys that would come and live in the forts, but then they would then raid out and steal cattle from farms. And do you remember when we went on holiday, we kept seeing farms that looked like they were fortified? Yeah, the farms had to be fortified, otherwise they would get robbed by the border reivers. So around about the 1700s, border reivers were here, but then, yeah, we can...
We're watching a pair of blue tits.
They're absolutely amazing.
They're just right there, and I think it's some sort of mating ritual. I mean, it's spring, isn't it? So I guess it must be.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
They're right there.
Yeah.
2 little blue tits.
So it was John Clayton, who we met at Chester's Fort, who dug Chester's Fort. He used to live there. He dug Chester's Fort first of all. He then moved on to Housesteads, which is a bit further down where we were going on holiday. But then he started to dig past the wall itself in the late 1800s that really discovered fully what we see here today. So it's thanks to John Clayton at Chester's. So what was life like here on the wall? Actually, it was very much like armed forces are now, who are stationed in faraway countries. Soldiers would man the wall, they'd undertake drills, but they would live in their forts. And outside the forts, in the vicases, lived their families, wives, children, and also veterans who'd retired from the army would often stay nearby where they were posted. And these places were really civilised. They're lovely places. Housesteads, Vindolanda, we've already mentioned, and we're going to take to those in the summer. So I think here endeth, you can see the girls in the background there, they're on the way to get their lunch, and I'm going to follow. Here endeth our Roman journey at Hadrian's Wall, at the edge of the empire. It's been epic. It's been amazing having you guys along with us. And I can't wait till we come back and we show you some of the forts that are along this wall in the summer. But for now, back to us in the studio, and you can look forward to favourite places to knit at Revo Abbey, Eggleston Abbey, and one more, Mount Grace Priory, coming up in episodes, I think we start episodes 23, 24 and 25. But for now, back to us in the studio.
It's finished. That's no good. I want to go back, which is funny because we've not actually been yet. It's without doubt, I think the only other place in the world that you can go to get a feeling of what it must have been like to live at Roman times is Rome. Funnily enough, it's I think because it's so far away from any towns. They were so clever in the selection, sticking the wall where they stuck it, as you've seen, all along the Great Wind Sill. What's interesting is prior to the wall being there, that was like the line that they were using. So they didn't pick the area and then think, right, we'll stick the wall there. That was just the line that they had been using as the defensive line. So they'd use the geology and the geography of the area initially, and then Hadrian stuck a wall on top of it.
It's like a natural ridge, isn't it?
It's very clever. Just very clever. And how they did it with no machinery.
It's amazing.
And it just... What can you imagine being about? I mean, we may well have touched on this on the podcast. I'm still sort of finalising exactly what on the podcast on the favourite places to knit bit that you've just seen. But how amazing it must have been to be a Celt. So you're a member of a Celtic tribe living in a roundhouse on a hill fort somewhere, and having a nice happy life. You don't believe in writing things down. You think that memory should be committed to memory, and you should be able to recite them, which is a great idea whilst your way of life exists. But as soon as you die out, then all your all your memories, all your stories die with you. So you're living a very rustic, but I'm sure a very happy life. And then suddenly this behemoth appears on the horizon, building a great big road, building amazing structures, and actually existing in a way which really is still part of life today, especially in America. When you look at the way that cities are built and you look at the grid system that's used with the traffic, it's exactly the same thing in Roman times. They did the same in every fort, as I'm sure you're aware. So you could go to any fort in the empire and you always knew where the Principia was, you always knew where the granaries were, and you could find your way around. It's very clever, but also slightly sad in a way, because it would be great to know, it'd be great to understand the history a bit more of the Celts. And it'd be interesting to know how Celtic we are, you know, you and me
Yeah.
in particular. You would guess quite a lot, given the fact that half your bloodline is from Ireland,
yeah.
and half my bloodline is from Wales. Yeah, interesting. If you enjoyed that, we shall be returning, as we've already said, to some more Roman things later on in the year. Not far off. But we'll talk about what's coming up on Favourite Places to Knit, because it's going to get even more exciting. Now it's time to find out, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
Yeah, just finished a row. 2 things.
No, just one.
What?
Don't do both at the same time.
No, I've got 2 things off my needles.
Yes. I thought you were going to break into both.
No, how could I do that?
I don't know.
The first one, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this little lovely already. But look! And it's a little bonbon. Oh, look at her. Look at her little tail. So cute. It's the bonbon pattern by Susan. Look at the ears. By Susan Claudino on Ravelry. She's No Nick Sherlock on Instagram. And on Ravelry. Yes, you're that on Ravelry as well, aren't you, Susan? I just had to think. So I knit her from, I think I said this last time, from some hand spun that was gifted to me from Deb at Fondant Fibre. It's beautiful colours. I thought it was really Eastery. Look at her little face. Hello. There she is. Hello. And it's a fantastic pattern, as always with Susan's patterns. They're very, very easy to follow and just lovely to knit. And look at, I just love the big feet, and oh, so cute. Bryony loves her. She's been dragging her around for days, and I said, oh, I've got to borrow her today for the podcast to show everybody. And her big ears, and I think it just looks lovely in hand spun. And I've still got some of that skein left. I've knit a Miss Gelato, a bonbon, and there's still, I don't know, maybe 20 grams left, something like that. So it's really beautiful. So that's my first little finished object. Yay! Gonna wave. Yay! Appropriate for Easter coming up.
You said what the yarn was, did you?
Yeah, it's handsome from Fondant Fibre. I think I lost the ball band, Deb. I know you dyed it. I'm sure you dyed it, didn't you? And then spun it. I mean, goodness, you're so clever. But I think it was a mix of Falkland merino and silk. And then...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I'm not used to you having something...
Just back step. You're not used to me having finished objects.
No.
That is putting across a message that is just simply wrong. I'm sure I had a finished object last episode.
You didn't. What did you finish last episode?
Oh,
Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's off your needles?
What's off my needles? Well, I've had the pleasure of knitting something brand new. It actually, I suppose I test knitted. It's been...
You didn't test knit it,
It's been a real honour to be asked to be a test knitter. I was asked by someone who I greatly respect, as a knitter and as a man.
This is you.
Sadly, no one else would test. No, that's not true at all. Yes, it is. Yay!
Yay!
It is finished. It is. Oh yeah, that's coming out well. It is the handbrake cowl. I nearly said sure. It is finished. It sounds wrong to say. Look, the genius lies with Susie Gawley and Bankhead, because the pattern that she created with that just resonates with me as a knitter, and by taking with that and playing with that a little bit, taking all the good bits of that, it's really what you do as a musician, actually, or I'm sure as an artist as well. You take all the bits of things that you love from other people and you put them all together into something, and you create something of your own. And so just the knitting of it has been just great. Really, really, really enjoyed it. And the great thing is, because this is knit in the round, I got that right. Because this is knit in the round, there is no purling.
Well, apart from the pearl bumps.
Apart from the pearl bumps.
There is purling.
There is purling. Apart from the pearl bumps.
And the garter, you've got to purl.
And the garter. So forget everything I just said, because it's all wrong. No, I think
there isn't as much.
What I'm trying to say is, because with this, it's knit in the round, you don't have to keep doing a round of purling all the time. All that said, now thanks to my socks, as we established earlier on in the episode, I'm really enjoying the whole purling charade on the other one.
Your socks?
Yeah, the socks. Do you remember in earlier on in this podcast, I said that by knitting the socks, I'm enjoying knitting the scarf more. Yeah.
Okay.
So there it is, complete. But for us to know if this works as a pattern, and I did need a test knitter. Now I asked loads and loads of people. They all said no, so I had to get her to do it. Okay, what else is off your needles?
Everybody's thinking, how on earth do I put up with you? And I ask that question many times a day. So yes, I test knit Dan's cowl for him. So there's mine. Well, actually, I knit mine with Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Farmhouse White colourway, which is lovely. It's just a very subtle grey.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But I actually knit it. Dan did his on 4.5 mils and I knit mine on 5 mils, thinking that Mad Tosh Vintage was heavier, which it is. But actually it came out a little bit more airy than I would have wanted. So the pattern will say 4.5 mils that it recommends. So there it is. Yay!
I love those lines.
I didn't have any problems with the pattern.
Well, look, let's be honest here. Granted, the design was mine, but the pattern is yours.
I kind of wrote it, didn't I?
So thank you so much for knitting up the handbrake cowl. And I suppose, is this as an opportune time to ask them the question?
Yes, I think so.
So the plan was to release the handbrake cowl as a free pattern, but something had sort of stuck in my mind a couple of times and thought about it, and then a couple of people messaged me and suggested this, and I just want to ask you the question. We want to ask you the question and post a response in the YouTube thread or in the Ravelry forum or wherever you want. What if we were to charge
£1, we've said.
£1, and whatever money is raised goes to cancer research?
So the whole proceeds, we obviously wouldn't take anything. It's the whole £1 from that.
So I won't say any more than that at the moment. We do have some ideas as to how to make it quite a special thing in a number of ways. But let's really leave it up to.
Yeah, I've asked a couple of people on what they would think of that, because we did say it was going to be free originally, and we don't want to go back on that. If people don't like the idea, then we won't do it. But we did just kind of want to just put it out there, because I think you felt, and I feel as well, that you give to charities, don't you, all through your life, and this, I think, to give to a charity that means something to you, to give back, I think, is kind of important that we all do that. But, I think as well, cancer touches so many people.
If you stop and think about it, if you stop and think about it, and this is not being negative and down in any way, the chances are high that at some point in your life it's going to touch you in some way. So to be able to do something positive from something which is seen as so negative could be really great. The bottom line is, though, we're pretty easygoing about this. So if the overwhelming thought from all of you guys is, let's just get it out there free and get everyone knitting handbrakes, then that is what we'll do.
But
If you think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. You know, if you're happy to pay £1 for us to then donate it, and we'll obviously let you know how much we raise and everything. And like Dan says, there will be some additional extras in the pattern if we go down that route that'll only be accessible to people who buy the pattern.
Yeah, but let's keep our mouths shut, because the bottom line is it really doesn't matter. What I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to say a load of things and make you think that. You know, we will do things to support cancer research anyway. You know, we already do actually, don't we? We donate money every month, and but the question is, would you like to, and do you think it's a good idea? And if you do, then we'll go ahead and do it. And next episode, we shall talk about it in more depth, and we'll maybe explore some of the things which we will do in addition. So moving on, we need to know.
Yes.
What's off someone else's needles?
Off your needles. Ah, yes. This is someone who said they loved something that I also loved when I was a teenager and still do love. So notorious. That's a clue. Are you ready? So what's off your needles is...
Wild Boys.
M. Cobb 2006. And that's Michelle. And Michelle is in Bakersfield, California.
Ooh, that makes me think of...
makes me think of something as well.
Makes me think of a saxophone solo.
I don't know, Bakersfield.
Baker Street.
Makes me think of something. And she, when she was a teenager, I think you said when you were a teenager, she loved Duran Duran. And I loved Duran Duran. Oh. So yeah, Michelle loved Duran Duran, and I think she said, I don't know if she said Simon Le Bon was her favourite, but my favourite was Roger Taylor, the drummer. Oh, I loved him. He was lovely, dark hair. Kind of, you know, drummers never really say very much, do they? So he's like dark and mysterious. In the band, Right, okay. They're not like the lead. I'm
blowing that myth away, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but they're not like the lead men. Really it was like Simon Le Bon and John Taylor were the two most prominent, you know, one that people were always crazy for. Then there was Nick Rhodes, Roger Taylor, and Nick Taylor were the other ones.
How funny that Roger Taylor is the drummer in Duran Duran and the drummer
it's different
in Queen.
Different Roger Taylor.
Yes, of course it is.
So Michelle.
I mean,
oh yeah, nobody's done it still.
Yeah, Debbie Kelsey.
And Michelle Dancing Dog Dye Works, I've got on my socks. She's knitting a pair of socks in this yarn, which is Desert Vista Dye Works. She posted it on Instagram this morning, and I said, "Oh, I'll wear mine."
Nice.
So go on over to the What's Off Your Needles thread, Michelle, and tell us
what's off your needles.
What's the last thing you finished?
Yes, please. Hopefully it's something really cool. I'm sure it will be.
Sure it will be.
Yes. To round off the whole Roman 3-episode... Oh no, it's worked out 4 episodes because we did baking last episode. Messalina shawl time.
Ah, well, we didn't know the name. We didn't say the name last. Did we?
I've just said it.
I totally forgot, but we didn't say what the name was last episode because I hadn't...
I can't believe I said it first time. Really sorry. Do you want to edit that out?
No.
Okay.
Because I hadn't claimed the name on Ravelry, so I didn't want to say it, which I have now, so it's all fine. So it's the Messalina. And Messalina was the third wife of the Roman Emperor Nero.
Yes.
Now, there were a few Messalinas in history.
Yes.
I think one of them was a little bit dodgy.
Yes.
But the one that the shawl is named after is one of the wives of Nero.
Yes.
If you're just curious as to where that name came from.
And why did you pick one of the wives of Nero?
Because Nero... it was something to do with he was in charge or something around that time. I don't know.
Nero.
Dan just told me to use Nero.
Nero came after Claudius. Claudius was in charge, as you'll have already established in the Favourite Places to Knit segment. Claudius was in charge when Rome was first conquered by when Britannia was first conquered by the Romans, but then Nero took over and he continued that conquering, and when they got up to around the areas that we are now, that's who was in charge. So it seemed appropriate that it be one of the wives of Nero. We like to think that maybe she came and visited Piercebridge, and she
Maybe
didn't.
She did.
She did. Well, certainly not in the history books. No. But it'd be nice to think that she did.
Maybe she did. So here it is. I'll show you again. I know you saw it last episode too. And it's in test knitting at the moment. I've got one person who's completely finished it, and she has posted, she very kindly actually, and I should have done this, but she opened a thread on the group this morning that's just entitled Messalina Shawl, and she posted a couple of pictures of her finished shawl, and it's beautiful. It's like a pale pink colour. It's gorgeous. So she's completely finished with it, and then I've got a few others that I'm not quite sure how far through you are actually, but I'm going to check with you because I'm hoping that it'll be out this weekend. Fingers crossed, the pattern. But I'll post it on Instagram and things when it comes out and everything. So there's a lovely shawl. I do like this one actually, the drapey one. It's really nice.
And I'm of course wearing the gentleman's version.
Oh, so you are? I forgot that you were. I was going to put it on for you a minute.
Do it.
But I can't.
Do it.
It's not like looking in a mirror, is it?
I think that there's something to be said for, you said about knitting memories into that blanket that you were talking about. It definitely reeks of Hadrian's Wall.
Does it? Yeah. Sorry about the woolite thing, everybody. I had no idea that woolite was so bad. So I'm really sorry for recommending it when, I had no idea. I washed this in it and it's fine. I've only obviously washed it once, so sorry.
It's just one of those things, isn't it?
It's one of those things.
I'm equally sure there'll be thousands of people out there who probably swear by it.
Well, some people, yeah. I mean, I guess really, it's up to you, isn't it? It's personal choice. But,
personal choice, personal experience.
Yeah. And people have said such lovely things. So, and the test knitters, the yarn, and people, my friends, that are sending me messages saying, "Oh, I've got this yarn," and beautiful yarns that are appearing.
You can all have a bit of Rome in there,
yeah.
A bit of Messalina.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
and to go with that.
And then I spoke about the bags last time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting on one thing.
And we're not saying what it is.
I'm not saying what it is, but it's to do with the zipper pull.
Very special.
And I'm waiting for something.
Special edition.
All the bags are made that I'm going to make. And, I mean, that's one of them there. This one has got I love this lining. It's so retro, isn't it? It's like 60s, isn't it? 1960s, 50s sort of. I think that's really cool. And oh gosh, I thought I was going to knock a drink over. So there will be something on the zipper pull, and they're all going to have a little badge too.
So the zipper pull is the special thing we mentioned last time. It's what we were thinking about before. Sadly, it's not quite. It took some planning, took some pulling together.
Took some finding, yeah. So it's on its way, and I should really have expected them yesterday. So I'm still waiting. But again, if that, provided they
just whisper in my ear who it is.
Who? What is?
Who's on it?
I can't remember. It might be.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It might not be. Sorry.
It totally is. It's the coolest thing ever.
It's very cool.
It's
like. So as soon as I've got all being well, this will be this Sunday. But if for any reason it's delayed, I will post on Instagram and I've got a Ravelry thread about bag updates, and also on the header, my shop header, the Etsy shop header, it'll be on there. So there's 3 places I will post, and there will be some notice, at least a couple of days. So hopefully it's going to be Sunday, but if for any reason what I need is delayed, it'll be whenever they arrive, unfortunately. So, and there'll be a portion of them going up on whatever day it is. A portion of them will go up at 8 a.m. GMT, and the other portion will go up at 7 p.m. GMT.
I think we need to be super clear about this, because I don't fully understand what you've said. The plan is that they will go up on Sunday.
Yeah, but whatever day it is, the times will be the same.
Yeah. So the plan is, right at this moment, if things arrive as they should, they will go up on Sunday. If things don't arrive as they should, you will put a note on saying the date that they will go up.
Yes.
And it will be a couple of days after.
Yes.
So if they don't go up on Sunday, then probably it will be Tuesday then.
Yes.
Right. So everyone's clear then.
Fingers crossed. Whatever the date is, I will Instagram it and not Facebook it. I don't go on Facebook. Ravelry message it and Etsy shop message it. So that's one of the bags again. I'll just show you. So yes, that's that.
But it'll be worth the hassle.
It'll be worth
from
the
your
hassle.
point of view, with regards to, because it's a pain, isn't it, waiting for these blooming bits.
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating because normally I make everything, you know, the zipper pull things, but this time we wanted something particular, and there's no way I could have made what this thing is.
And we
So-
couldn't get it as we wanted to, because we had to cancel our trip, didn't we? Because we're not going
Yeah.
until. So we thought, oh, we'll get
Yeah.
them by post,
Yeah. And it's
they're
an
not-
Etsy shop that I've used, and I got a dispatch notice last Friday, I think, or Thursday. It's a week. It's been a week, and you know, from when they said it was dispatched, so clearly it wasn't dispatched then, because it's a UK shop.
Well, maybe it was by pigeon.
Maybe it was by pigeon. So fingers crossed it'll come today, but we don't get our post till about 3 p.m. at the moment, so that's a whole other story.
Cool.
So that's that. And books.
What's on your bookshelf?
Is it me again?
And by you, I mean you.
Me?
Okay.
Me?
Yes.
Right. Well, I'm still reading the same as I was reading last time. But I'm kind of halfway through now. The problem I'm having at the minute is I'm just so tired at night time. I'm reading like 2 pages and falling asleep. Or on the sofa. I fall asleep before. But I'm still really enjoying it. And I think a couple of people have said they got it after I'd recommended it. It's a lovely little read. And I think I've worked out what her life event was that has brought her to this village. I think I've worked it out. She hasn't said yet, but I think I know. Still a really nice read. You know, I would recommend it if you want, you know, a simple, easy holiday read. It'd be lovely for. So yeah, really enjoying it still.
And that is Ivy Lane by Kathy.
Kathy Bramley.
Nice.
Dan Jones. What's on your bookshelf?
Well,
I couldn't remember what to say.
I spoke about a Simon Scarrow book an episode or 2 ago, I think. Simon Scarrow wrote a whole range of books all about Roman adventures. They're about 2 centurions, so members of a legion. They're called Macro and Cato. Initially, I didn't particularly like these books because I had read some of the Con Iggulden books, Gates of Rome. I've mentioned that before on previous episodes. That's really, really good. 4 books it is, all about Julius Caesar. They're excellent, definitely worth a read. The reason why I picked this one though is this is the first one. It's the second one in the series, but it's the first one that I read. I actually read it twice. First time I sort of read it and I'm thinking, no, it's not as good as Con Iggulden. And then I finished it and I thought, do you know what? There's a little bit of time afterwards. I read it again because I just thought I didn't give it enough of a chance. I read it again and I really enjoyed it. And the reason why I have mentioned it today is this is all about the conquest of Britain. So it is Macro and Cato coming over with the forces sent by Claudius, and they come over and they start their conquest of Britain. So it's all about the sea crossing and then landing in Britain and the battles that go on. Really strong story. It's not all fighting at all. Really strong storyline. Really good book. If you've enjoyed our Roman series, definitely worth a read. It's historical fiction, but with enough of the true stuff mixed in for me to take it seriously. As I've probably touched on before, I don't like books, historical fiction books that I don't like like Titanic.
Right.
What's the point in writing that story when there were many stories?
Do you mean the film?
The film.
All right.
You could have featured any one of those real life stories without making something up.
True.
Yeah, so definitely very good. What else is on your bookshelf?
It's on my bookshelf, but not read yet because I'm saving it for my holiday.
Oh.
Which is very soon. I saw this in Waterstones the other day and I thought, ooh, and I recognise that woman, and I saw her on a TV series, and I'll show you the front cover. So it's by a lady called Amanda Owen and it's called The Yorkshire Shepherdess. It's a true story, and she was featured on a programme that was on ITV here last year, I think, or the year before, called The Dales. It's presented by, was it Adrian Edmondson?
Yeah.
Yes, Adrian Edmondson.
You know,
and
the young ones?
Yeah, and it was basically, you know, the day-to-day lives of people who lived in the Yorkshire Dales. And this lady was one of the people that they featured. She lives with her husband on a Dales hill farm, you know, raising sheep. I think it's just sheep, actually. Oh no, cows, horses, bit of everything it sounds like. But I think it's mainly sheep. It's a sheep farm. And she's got 7 children.
Wow.
I mean, and that I only saw sort of bits of it, because it wasn't her featured, you know, the family featured all the time. It was different things. But the journey that her kids had to go on to get to school was just unbelievable.
Wow.
And it just looks really interesting. I only read like the back cover, but basically she grew up in Huddersfield. She was inspired by James Herriot books, etc. And, you know, she basically left her life there to marry, you know, a husband and raise, you know, sheep and live on a farm. And I just thought, gosh, you know, that must be a brilliant story to read. So that's coming away with me on holiday. Looks really good, and I'll let you know how it is when we get back. Lots of pictures too. I love when you've got a book and there's photos in it. Don't you always want to like...
Do you like picture books?
Have a nosy at the photos.
Is that what you like?
No, but I think it just helps you with the story when it's a real story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's a picture of her wedding there.
Nice.
Dear me, that dress is so like... Oh, Lord.
Well, you have to show it, don't you?
Sorry. Look at her wedding dress. It's very 80s, isn't it? I don't know if it was the 80s she got married, or 90s I should say, it probably is. But it just looks excellent, so I'll let you know. And it's Yorkshire. Oh, what else is on your bookshelf?
So I showed this in episode 19, so not the last episode, the episode before. The reason why I have chosen to hold it up again for you is... When I spoke to you about it before, I told you that it was a great book all about the wall. I hadn't read it in quite a few months. In preparation for today's episode, I've been reading this just to refresh my memory about some of the facts that we've already covered when we were out on favourite places to knit. And what I forgot about this book is it is about so much more than just the wall. It's pretty much about the Romans' conquest. The fact, you know, the facts. It's not historical fiction. This is, as the history books tell us, and the history books are fairly in depth. The reason why they're in depth, and of course we have to remember that the history books were written by the Romans. They say that, don't they? That's the unfortunate thing in history. Those who lose the battles don't get to write the history books.
No.
So you always get, and especially with the Celts not writing anything down, as we've already spoken about.
It's very one-sided.
It is very one-sided. But what this guy tries to do is he tries to get into the head of the native Celts and write it to a certain extent from their point of view. So I'm well into this, and he's not even got to the wall yet. So he's really covering the full history of time from the initial invasion right the way up to the building of the wall, and actually then he goes on further and talks about what happens to the wall then over the years afterwards. So it is a massively in-depth book, and the great thing about it is it's so readable. It's like completely readable, a history book that you can pick up and just go. It's tremendous. So do read this if you are interested at all in any of the things we've spoken about. So Alistair Moffat, The Wall, Rome's Greatest Frontier. Give it a go. We need to ask someone what's on their bookshelf. I was very interested in what was on...
Trying to finish that sock.
Graceful M's bookshelf.
Oh, yeah.
I had a look. There was quite a lot on her bookshelf. There was quite a few books. She's clearly a bit of a reader. Yeah.
I think you do find that knitters often are readers as well. So what's on your bookshelf this time is somebody a long way away. And she's living in a place where she wasn't actually born, but she's lived there for quite a while. So what's on your bookshelf is Dubai Mel.
Yay!
And that's Melissa, or Mel as she's known, from Dubai. And I think she says she's lived there 11 years, but she's an Australian.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
Dan's just jiggling the thing. And... you know, she's had children over there, but now both her children, she said, are actually studying in the UK. Oh. So that just kind of jumped out at me, and that must be... Because at one time we looked into Dubai, didn't we?
Yeah, there was a talk
possible
of a job
offer for Dan in Dubai when he was teaching. So we kind of looked into it a little bit, and that, you know, that made me just I was just interested. So yeah. So Mel, if you want to pop over to the What's on Your Bookshelf thread
and let us know.
What
are you reading in Dubai?
It's always super hot there, isn't it? That's what really struck me.
And that's where they have policemen with Maseratis.
Oh yeah.
It's the end bits now. So Messalina shawl knit along.
Yes, a couple of people have asked me if we were going to have a knit along for the shawl, and I had thought about it, but not, you know, decided really one way or the other. If I didn't know if people wanted it, but you know, a couple of people just lately have said, "Oh, you're going to have a knit along. Yeah, I'd really like to do it." So we will have a knit along for the shawl, and we'll start it. You see, hopefully it's going to go out this weekend, the pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any reason why.
There shouldn't be any reason why not, no. I mean, I was just waiting on test knitters, but I think it's far enough through now that I'm confident everything's okay with it. So, yes, the pattern will go out this weekend. So I think we'll start the knit along from Monday, shall we? That seems a good day.
And run it till...
And run it till the end of April.
Cool.
So I think that gives you about 5 weeks.
Loads of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Monday, the date on Monday is the 22nd?
Yeah, I think so.
Of March.
Yeah.
And it'll run till the end of April, which is the 30th, isn't it? 30 days are September, April. Yeah, 30 days in April. So I will open a thread on Ravelry for just, you know, it'll say something like Messalina shawl knit along chatter or something along those lines. So if you can all maybe post pictures of your yarn and you know what kind of yarns or whatever that you'll be knitting it with. And then obviously once you get started, you can post your pictures and just have a general chatter and ask me any questions you want to as well, if you do have any questions about the pattern. So we'll start that. I'll open a thread, and then I'll also open a finished objects thread as well. And then I'll have some sort of prize, probably just one, but it'll be, I don't know, some yarn or maybe a bag. Maybe I'll make a bag. And maybe as well, I've never done this, I don't think, as a prize. Maybe I'll give some of my toy patterns away. That might be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you next time. We'll decide properly next time what the prizes are going to be. But it's more a kind of informal knit along. You know, we're not doing it for the prizes as such. It's just really a way of everybody getting together and chattering and asking me any questions you want to. So, yeah.
Speaking of knit alongs, how's Spring into Socks going?
It's going amazingly well. I had a look this morning. I think there was 69
Where?
finished objects.
And when does it finish?
End of April, the same
Right.
again, actually.
Cool.
So yeah, that's going really well.
End of April?
Yeah.
Cool. If I move, I might get it.
You might get them done.
Whoa!
Still got 5 weeks.
That'd be
haven't
good.
you?
I could do that.
Well, you can't win a prize anyway.
No, I know. But it's not about the prize. As you've just
No.
said, it's about the taking part. I want
Yeah.
to get it finished.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's lots of places to double dip.
Yes, I mean, we're doing it with Knicksknits, obviously, and that's just reminded me. He said on his last podcast that he in his finished objects thread, you can post, it's 1 pair of socks per post. So if you knit 3 pairs of socks, then you will have 3 entries into the prizes. Now, I've obviously misunderstood, because when we communicated, I thought what he was doing is what I'm doing, in that it's one...
What I'm doing?
What we are doing.
Thank
It's
you.
1 entry per person. Because the reason I think, I want to leave it as it is, that it's 1 entry per person. So if you knit more than 1 pair of socks, then just go in and edit your post and add in your next pair of socks into your 1 entry. And I think the reason that that's a fairer way of doing it is because a lot of people are knitting their first pair of socks. Now, I remember when I knit my first pair of socks, it was a massive achievement, to finish that pair of socks. I just felt so amazing. And to finish one pair of socks, I think is as big an achievement as knitting 4 pairs of socks for someone who's a very prolific knitter. So I think that kind of makes it fairer. I want to give that person as much opportunity that has worked hard on their first pair of socks as the person who, you know, enjoys knitting a lot of socks. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
But obviously
anyway,
Nick's got his own rules.
If you enjoy
so
knitting a lot of
fine
socks,
too.
just head over to Nick's post and
Yeah, I was going to say Sarah.
post away.
Sarah Hepworth.
Imagine that. The
and
perfect
enter.
combination is Sarah Hepworth and Erica Luda. Erica will design the most amazing socks, and Sarah will
just
knock them
bang
out by the day.
Sarah, you're
She's
amazing.
a machine.
She's absolutely amazing.
I'd love to see her knit.
You must be so fast.
There's like smoke coming off her needles.
Sarah, put us a post on Instagram and show us you knitting. Go
Yeah.
on, do it. I'd love to see. You've got to be like
15
super
seconds.
Psyched.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's that.
we'll talk more about Handbrake, because I know we were talking about releasing Handbrake about the same time as Messalina. We won't do that because obviously I see the question about cancer research and the charging and the donating, so let us know about that and we'll talk about that next time. Favourite places to knit. We are now entering into our return to the abbeys. We took you to only some of our favourite abbeys last year. We're now going to visit 3 more of our favourite abbeys. So we're going to go to Revo Abbey, we're going to go to Eggleston Abbey, which is amazing because it's got the most great graffiti.
We love Eggleston Abbey.
I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it, graffiti, but you've got graffiti from the 1800s. And I don't know, there's something about touching things like that I feel connects you directly with the person who put that. And graffiti back in the 1800s was polite. It was nice.
Yeah.
And we're also going to go to Mount Grace Priory. And Mount Grace Priory is super cool because it's, is it Benedictine or Carthusian?
I'm not sure.
It's the ones who live in cells.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the first one of those that we've taken you to. And it is a super gorgeous place.
It is, it's lovely, yeah.
But here's the bad news. We're not going to start those 3 until, not next episode, but the episode after. Oh no. So that means next episode, what we're going to do on favourite places to knit?
I don't know.
I can tell you. It's a holiday special.
Yay!
And where are we going to go? We're going to go to Haddon Hall. Now, I would guess the majority of you will have seen Haddon Hall.
But not known it.
Have you seen The Princess Bride? If you've seen The Princess Bride and you know the character Humperdinck, his castle is Haddon Hall. Have you seen The Other Boleyn Girl with Eric Bana, Natalie Portman and Scarlett Johansson? Haddon Hall is in that absolutely tons. I could go on and on and on. If you search on Haddon Hall, you'll see how popular it is for filming stuff.
Yeah, it's very. It's got a very different atmosphere to a lot of places we've been.
Because it's lived in.
Yeah, it is lived in.
It's so lived in, it only opens on an afternoon.
Yeah.
It's so lived in, it's actually, right now, if I wanted to go to Haddon Hall, I couldn't go.
No, it's closed.
It only opens on April the 1st and runs through till the end of summer. And then, get out. This is our house.
But we're going there because we booked a few days away, haven't we, at Easter? A little cottage in Derbyshire.
So we're going back to Derbyshire, but a different part of Derbyshire.
Yeah. But still fairly close to Chatsworth, just about 12 miles from Chatsworth, I think. So we will be going to Chatsworth, which is always good. So
I think you'll agree that that's quite an exciting and worthwhile little change of scenery before we go into our Abby's favourite places to knit. So episode 22. Holiday special, Easter special. Easter.
Just got a few little purchases and gifts. I got this book, and I know we're all madly into our crochet at the moment, aren't we?
Hey, that fits very nicely with our mentioning Bob Wilson then earlier on. She does crochet tutorials, and it seems those videos, I mean, many of you may well know who she is already because she has
Sally
a lot.
Must know because it's her pattern that you crocheted, Sally.
She's got 225,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel, so
that's madness, isn't it?
They must be great tutorials. I've watched 1 or 2. I don't crochet this, so I don't know.
No, so this book is by Susan Pinner. And my lovely friend Sally ordered this for me, and it's fabulous. It's just she said to me, she just loves looking through it. The photography, look at that book. I want to crochet that. It's like a journal cover. How cool is that? Little tiny granny squares. It's just full of projects like that. Just really, look, hexagons. It's beautiful. So it is a wonder. Oh, look at that. I love all these. I think it's fantastic. So thank you so much. Sally knows, but I love that. So that was the first thing. And then on Danny, on Little Bobbins, this last episode, she showed these, and I've seen these before, and I really needed some new stitch markers. I'm forever losing them. But my favourite types of stitch markers are just the little circles. I like the dangly ones, but I do prefer just the simplicity of the little circles. And I've had these ones before, and I'd ordered these a few days ago. It's just clover, but it's the ones that are rubbery. They're bendy. And I like these ones because then, they're not stiff on your needle, and they've got that give to them. So I got some of those a few days ago because I've just lost so many. You lose them all the time, don't you? There's probably loads down the sofa. And then Danny showed these that she'd got on her podcast. It's Fripperies and Bibelots on Etsy. And I went on and I thought, I've got to get some of those because they come in these little tins. And I don't know how I'm going to show these really, but they're Ringos, they're called. That just makes me think of the crisps we used to have when we were little. And look, they're just little rings, but they've got a bead glued on, which I think is great. It's glued on over the join. So these ones are dusky.
Hey, get your dogs in. We're trying to do a podcast.
Not our dogs. Dusky Sunset, these colours are called. So they're all like shades of kind of lavender. Really pretty. So I've got a little tin of those. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Aren't they lovely? And they come in a little tin. And you can get them without the tin as well. I think these were £5.50, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And you can buy them without the tin, and they're £4.50. And she does little teeny tiny ones for socks, and I wish I'd ordered some of those as well now. So I got those. So they're Dusky Sunset. And then I had to have some of this. Look, I ordered from the Wool Barn. I've been wanting some of this for a long time, and I kept missing the ones that I wanted. And she put in a tea bag, look, and I've left it in there because it smells minty. And she sent some little buttons with it. And there's a card. It's Maya from the Wool Barn, and I got smooth sock, pink speckles. It's 75/25 merino nylon. Look at that. Oh, it was the speckly ones I've been after. And it's a lovely, it looks like a 3-ply or 4-ply. It's 4-ply, which is my favourite. I love 4-ply for socks. So if I'm sorry about the dogs next door. If I'm going to cast on new socks to take away with me, I think this is what I will do. And I'd love to do some of the blueberry waffle socks. I think that would look lovely with these, with the texture, with the little speckles. So that's a Maya. I love it. Thank you. And a little bag. So cool. And then the last couple of things, because I saw this. And whenever I've looked for this colourway, I can never find it. And then I found it in Meadow Yarns. I just had to think then it was Meadow Yarns. And look at the colourway. It's Cosmic Wonder Dust. I've been after this colourway for I can't think how long, and it's always out of stock at Loop. Cosmic Wonder Dust in Tosh Sock. Look at that. How cool is that? No idea what I'm going to knit with it. What do you think?
Neither have I.
Neither have I. You don't like it? You don't like it?
No.
Why not? Why don't you like it?
Where's it from?
Madeline Tosh. Why don't you like it? I'm interested.
Well, I suppose it'll look fine in a pair of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just there's no nylon in it.
Ah.
I knew that.
Why do they call it Tosh Sock then?
Well, should something be called... People do knit socks out of this, and I've knit socks out of it, and for you, and they got holes in.
Why do I like that? That to me looks like some yarn that someone has dropped a paint tin all over.
Well, I think that's the
like
idea,
a children's
isn't it?
paint tin. Well, I could do that, couldn't I?
Well, I think it's more difficult than you think.
I don't dispute that it's difficult, but the vibe I get off that is an art table.
Right. I mean, maybe I will just knit socks out of it, but do it at a really tight gauge and then just wear them for bed. Or
Socks
something.
would work.
Yeah. Well, I love it anyway, but you know, each to their own.
Exactly.
And then the final thing, I was inspired by whatever podcast it was. It just reminded me that I had some of this yarn in my stash, and I've never knit with it, but I've had this for a while. It's Debbie Bliss Baby Cash Merino. It's sport. It comes out of sport weight, and that just made me think of sport weight shawls for some reason. I think it's because the canopy shawl that Mandarins put out fairly recently is a sport weight, and I've got these colours. Look, shall I show you? Oh, that's quite cool. It's kind of like a gradient. Ooh, kind of like a gradient, do you think? And I thought, oh, I wonder if I could knit a shawl that's like a gradient shawl. And I thought about the canopy because that might work because it's got those sections, hasn't it? And a gradient might work. Not all of these colours, maybe 3 or 4 of them. So I'm thinking about that. So if anybody's got any ideas for me, sport weight shawl that's kind of like a gradient, what pattern would work, then, you know, just post in, why are you staring at me like that? Just post in the episode thread and let me know suggestions. But it's super soft, and I would love, a shawl would be so nice, I think, in this yarn. It's so beautiful though. So that is it.
Hopefully you enjoyed that little trailer. That's a little taster of where we're going to be. I may even have bunged in a few little shots of Haddon Hall because we have been before. Of course we have, because it is. I don't think we've ever knit there actually.
No.
Maybe we could this time.
I don't think I was a knitter the last when we went there.
No.
Last.
So we shall make it a favourite place to knit. So we'll see you next time for the Easter special with the favourite place to knit at Haddon Hall. And yeah, have a great 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.